It's a world, huh?
Special world.
It's a planet of itself, and the fantasy is very special because I regard the piece from the piano part as maybe the most difficult of all Schubert pieces.
Really, even more,
including the solo piece.
Really.
Okay. Well, of course, there is also the Wanderer fantasy,
Right.
also in C major.
Yes.
A bit earlier than the violin and piano, which is also quite challenging piece. But this one, and I think that for you too. Right?
Well, I mean, this is what I've heard also for so many great pianists. Also, they said felt the same thing, that for the piano part is really tough. And so, what is the most challenging for you in this sense of technique? Or I mean, you have amazing technique, you have amazing musicality, but this piece for you, what is challenging at the same time special for you?
Well, don't take it as a bad comment from me about Schubert. I don't regard this piece as one of the most characteristic and specific in his work. It's a great piece. It contains absolutely fabulous moments as a whole, as a fantasy. And I would say a little bit the same for the piano, the solo piano, the Wanderer fantasy. I have the feeling that Schubert was trying to find something that he never found. And for me, the really great, the best piece of Schubert, there are more. There is not this will of achieving something so difficult. I think that he was
trying
wrong. Yeah,
he was trying too hard.
He was wrong about that. He was not a great pianist himself.
Yeah.
We know that.
Right.
He was not a good pianist.
But how he could write so difficult part? That's maybe the
explains. He wrote something which is, I don't want to say impossible to play, but probably in his time nobody was able to play because it's not well written for the piano. When you play something by Liszt or by Chopin, or for you, I don't know.
Paganini, Wieniawski,
this is difficult,
right?
But
it fits.
It fits.
Yeah.
You don't think that it's against.
It's trying hard. Yes, yes. This is that's exactly how I feel. I mean, in the pieces like musically are so superior, like Schubert or Beethoven, but because they are not violinists themselves, that they're written for someone in their mind. That even Brahms, when he collaborated with one of the best, his colleague Joachim, but still he took all the advices, but it's not the same. That because you can feel they write something uncomfortable for the instruments.
And for the fantasy, it's absolutely notorious. Yeah. He wrote it almost in collaboration with this violin Slavic. Mm-hmm. And probably Slavic told him, well, this is just unplayable.
He was considered as the second Paganini, by the way, Slavic. So yeah.
So that's why there are two versions. Mm-hmm. One is considered as a bit more easy, so to speak.
Right,
but
right.
It's just more violinistic.
Yeah. By the way, this time I'm playing with you this piece. I'm trying to play the original version.
Yes.
So I mean, but I found, of course, it's a little more challenging, but it's very exciting. But musically,
it's possible because
sense.
also the violin technique has improved.
Sure. I mean,
since 1827 or
yes.
something.
Yeah. Of course, I think the playing, the technique of playing is certainly.
I'm almost sure that if we had the opportunity to listen to Mr. Slavic and Mr. Schubert playing, we would be awfully disappointed.
That's like they always say that these composers at that time, I mean, they were basically side reading at the premiere or something like that.
Yes. It's well known. I mean, there is a story when Schubert wanted to play the Wanderer fantasy. Mm-hmm. He just couldn't go to the end. Uh-huh. He couldn't manage.
Right.
And he had to stop, and he would say something absolutely awful. He would say, this is impossible, this is a devil.
But you mentioned earlier that you feel this is not so typical Schubert in one sense.
Well,
why is that?
There are moments which are, of course, very Schubert
from the leaders, yes.
But as a whole, I wouldn't say it's among the.
Do you think that's related to that he had so much admiration to Beethoven, his preceptor and his idol, basically?
I don't hear much Beethoven.
No? I mean, I think he has certain, for me there is certain
I hear more Beethoven in the
moments.
Wanderer, yes.
Uh-huh.
A little more Beethoven, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much. I mean, Beethoven
the
would
last
have
movement.
never invented such a beginning.
Right.
The opening bars is only Schubert.
That's
and
very typical. That's very typical. That's true. Like the C major quintet, string quintet. Yeah. It's very similar.
But then there are.
Yeah. But the finale, for example, or the variation. For me, the variation, of course, is the theme is from his leader. But it's a bit like Kreutzer. In a sense, he was kind of dedicated, especially written right after Beethoven's death, and the finale for me is more a little bit heroic in this kind of sense, but which is not so often in Schubert.
So often, but there are other examples in Schubert music. this kind of end, of heroic, as you said.
Yeah, right. There's certainly celebration of victories.
Yes.
Yeah, like that. Okay, thank you, Michel. And it's really great pleasure to play together again.
Not the last.
No.